Hello YouTube. Hello YouTube. Welcome back to the episode. In today's episode, I will teach you an untold way to hook your front controller and to create your own custom URL. Let's do it. Hello YouTube and welcome back to this new episode. So as I said in the introduction, it will be a bit of funny episode. So I think I can say that 90% of people who code for Prestashop does not know that such hook does exist, right? The fact that it make your life much more easier. Okay, so let's get into this. And as always, I'm a humble guy and I do Google things and I run into troubles and I try to figure out solutions. Okay, so our starting point will be here, this DevDocs website, the famous one for the coding and for the documentation that I personally use to create my courses. And here we will look at these little things, ModuleRoutes, that is located under the classes dispatcher.php. Nothing else is said here, but basically a lot of fun is going on with this little hook. Okay, I just wanna invite you to have a look at this class, the class dispatcher, and specifically this little line here where you could see module routes and basically executing certain hook here before that we start doing some for each. That is globally or generally, this is trying to fetch all the modules that are hooked to this module routes, and after that inject them into a predefined array that is containing all the URLs. Simple as that. So let me just get you a bit through this argy-bargy code. And as I said here, we're getting all the modules who could do that module routes. After this, we check if they are array and they are not empty, and we start looping through them. And for each module, we check if this kind of controller roles, keyword params does exist. This kind of attribute will be, we'll discuss about them later. And if everything went well, at this little line here, we are merging two arrays. The array number one is the default route, as you may see here. And the next param that will be also an array will be route details. So if we jump into default routes here, we see a big butt of an array that is basically containing default routes that came shipped with Prestashop when you do install it, okay? So just a quick example here, we have category rules and we have a controller category and we have some IDs, some rewriting, meta stuff. This is basically the URL for categories. Just a hint, okay? And I'll give you the chance actually to discover what is also inside this array. All right, let's get back into our subject here. And here I have a very basic front controller that I'm basically using during the recording of the course that will be publishing hopefully pretty soon, especially with the baby. It's a bit, no, it's not a bit, it's so hard. All right, so this front controller do nothing for now, and I'm going to give it some power. So let's go ahead and call the public function init content here that will allow us to generate some content to the end user. And here the very first thing that we need to do, and most people forget, is to call the parent init content. Else you run into a lot of issues like missing language, missing context, missing things and things. So always call the init content from the parent before doing anything here. So init content, there we go. And the next thing, I'll keep it simple here. So I'll go ahead and define a public, let's call this template. Okay. That will host a URL or path, sorry, to come on to the template. All right, so the template is already here. I created and I simply dumped some lorem text. And I'll go ahead and open my basic controller here, and I would like to search for set template because I would like to copy some content. Set template, And I would like to copy all this back to my test here, and we have this little one. This will become template as well, template file. There we go. And here I will do this, since I'm extending the module front controller that by itself extend the controller, so I have access to all the members, function, methods, properties, all whatever I want. So here I will call, for example, the set template, that it does accept a template as you may see here, and accept also a bunch of params, a local kind of oops. So here I will simply pass this template, right? Good. And a semicolon. Okay. So traditionally, when we try to access a front controller, we do something really messy. It looks something like this. Let's wait for a second here. So we do my param test. What is param test? Yeah, because simply I'm pointing to the other one. So here will be front, and this will be test. Okay. Oops, back. There we go, refreshing. So we have this. Okay, it's working fine, no problem, nothing to worry about, except it's a bit painful because every time you need to create a link, you have to go through this step of creating a front controller. So if you don't know how to generate a link, then be my guest. So it generally passes through a link. And come on, what's wrong with me today? I cannot type things. Okay, we do this generally. We consume this method. So you pass the module, the controller, and the params, as we said, to get something like this. Well, this is not SEO friendly because the SEO option is not enabled in my store, but yeah. Well, actually, there is another way. Very simple and very easy way to generate beautiful URL the way you want them without any hassle. So how to do that? This is where it comes, the hook that I told you seconds ago, which is the routing or module route. So let me go back to my module here, and somewhere here I did define this just to speed up the process, and I created this hook module routes method. And this method does return basically an array that will be cached later during the dispatch things, where we saw the route module here, module route. Yep. So the array returned will be somewhere stored in this variable, and we'll do all the routing here, and we're passing it to the default routes, and there we go. You get the point. So here I simply defined an entry, call it test. You can call it wherever you want. Just one condition: you should not have a duplication. In case you have like 2 or 3 of them, you should not have like a repeated key, right? Pretty obvious. Okay, the next thing is a controller. So I'm defining the controller, the name of the file, not the class name. So here test is simply the name of the file of the controller, the rule, the URL, how you would like to have it. In my case, I just pick this random pretty URL as a name, in case you would like to pass some keywords. And the very important section is params. So here we must define the FC, which is front controller module. You have the module, the name of the module, that is again the module name, and the controller is a test. So here just me show you what is this comparing to the old school way, in case if we can call that an old school. So here FC here equal to module. This is exactly what I did here, module front controller for a module, and here we have a module keyword that is taking this name, and finally we end up with a controller that is this little parameter and does take test. Okay, let's go ahead and test this out. So as I said, my URL is a pretty URL. So I copy this and paste this. There we go. And kaboom, it's actually working. Maybe you are not noticing anything because it's the same branding, but there you go. So let me go back here, and our URL is working fine as expected. Just one more thing before finishing this video, maybe wondering why the hell I don't have any footer, header, any styling, all the things are gone. Well, simply because we have to do one more step inside our template. So our template is like an orphan template for now. It must extend certain parent. It must rely on parents. So here I'll go ahead and extend a page.tpl. Well, this page.tpl is basically the main template skeleton of our website. It lives under the template, under the templates of your themes, and it does contain a list of blocks in which we'll be picking one of them. And in my case, I will pick the page content. So let me copy this here. And so now you get the points. You could type whatever you want. Let's do some lorem of 100. This will be a lot of text, and just to prove that my point of view is correct, let me disable the zoom, and there we go. So we have the text here displayed correctly without the hassle of the module link and generation and all kinds of stuff. All right, so thank you for watching, and what do you think? Do you like this video? If it's the case, well, be my guest. Do leave a thumb up. Leave a couple of words because it's good. And if you are interested in more of this content, there is a Discord link to my to my channel on Discord, if you can say that you can join us and stay up to date with my YouTube uploads and my courses. By the way, I do regularly share links with people on Discord. So anyway, just go ahead and join the Discord. Thank you for watching, people, and peace be upon you all.